Hey guys, and welcome back to another chapter of The Darkened Night. Art and story by me, Stacey Holt. As for my voice actors, Diz will be voicing Cat Noir, Adrien, and Felix. V will be voicing Alya. MerryMitch will be voicing Nino. Yasmin will be voicing Zoe, and I'll be voicing Marinette, Ladybug, and the narrator. Hope you enjoy. Now, Chapter 8. You can't do that, she screamed.
But LB...
Her eyes filled with salty tears once again. He felt his heart ache watching the tears stream down her cheeks. Her face scrunched, almost embarrassed of crying in front of the others. He felt a pressure on his arm. He looked down and saw that she had at some point gripped his arm. She didn't want him to leave. He got that, but he was the only one that could see in the dark. Why couldn't she see that he was doing this to protect her and everyone else? Cat, I don't want to hear it. I'm tired of you sacrificing yourself. I'm tired of watching you die. She gripped his arm tighter as her words got hoarse. The silence around everyone was thick enough to cut with a knife if they had one. Everyone stood in shock as Ladybug was crying, holding Cat Noir by the arm. Their beloved, courageous, never feared anything, always ready to fight superheroes, were scared, hurt, crying, seeming to be on the verge of giving up. He felt Ladybug's arm shake from her crying, as if she were trying to hold something back. He looked at her and walked closer, looking down at her.
I'll be fine,
he reassured her. No, you won't. The last time I left you, you got hurt, she cried, more tears streaming down her cheeks. He didn't know what she was talking about, but it had to be something she felt guilty for, and he must have just blown it off. This was again something she was hiding from him. Whatever it was, he wouldn't push the issue. Right now, he needed to get her to calm down and think like the hero she was. Cat Noir frowned down at her and faintly placed her hand on his stitched wound that rested under his shirt. She felt the warm leather through her own, and she looked up at him startled.
If you weren't there earlier, I wouldn't be here now. I'm alive because of you.
He smiled and gently placed a kiss on her forehead, which caused Ladybug to cry harder, and all of a sudden, he felt arms wrap around him. His eyes grew wide from the sudden affection and his heart raced. He looked down to find Ladybug hugging him. Hugging him with such a grip, he knew she was beyond terrified for his well-being. Almost as if she truly believed he was about to die any second. Cat looked at everyone, and due to how they were acting, it caused everyone to get nervous and skeptical about getting out of the hotel alive. He swallowed, now wondering the same thing himself. Were they in that much danger? They had faced countless Akumas, and like Ladybug had said, many people died and were brought back to life. Though they also were unaware that people were actually being killed, they probably assumed they were just causing chaos as well, like he was, until Ladybug opened his eyes. The Sukumatai's victim was different. They were dark and filled with hate.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm right by your side, m'lady,
he said softly, feeling her grip loosen at his words. Cat leaned out of the hug, and Ladybug wiped her tears after recollecting herself. She let him go and tried to muster a smile. Ladybug looked around at the teenagers that they called their friends in their personal life. Let's get you all to safety. If we find anyone else along the way, we will bring them with us, Ladybug stated.
Oh, have you seen anyone else? Have you seen Marinette or Adrien?
Alya asked, not sure if now was the right time to ask, but she was worried about her best friend.
Yeah, I haven't seen my buddy since all this scary stuff went down in the lobby,
Nino chimed in.
They could be hiding together. I know they were with each other at the beginning of all this mess,
Alya explained. Ladybug shook her head.
We saw Rose and Max, but they were... Never mind. I did see Marinette a little while ago. Maybe an hour? It was right after all this happened. She was almost attacked by the lady. I busted down a door and told her to run the other direction.
Cat explained.
No one has seen my body? At all? Did the lady get him? We have to save him!
Nino exclaimed, full of worry for his friend.
We haven't seen him yet. He could just be hiding. Let's not think like that.
Kat suggested. That is true. We haven't come across his body, Ladybug said with a dread-filled face.
My sister. Has anyone seen my sister?
Zoe asked. No, but we will find people and send them to floor 5, to Chloe's room. If we tell everyone to go to a specific room, we will know where everyone is. It will reassure us that everyone there will be safe and together. So you all go there now. We will meet you there soon, Ladybug instructed. Everyone looked at each other concerned, but took Ladybug's advice as it hadn't steered them astray yet. Everyone took out their phones and turned around, almost like their heroes had betrayed them. They were sending them away, just as a parent would send their children to bed, though they nonetheless made their way back toward the staircase and ascended it to what they assumed would be the 5th floor, making their way to Chloe's room as instructed. Once they were out of sight, Ladybug let out a breath, leaned against the nearby wall, and relaxed. Cat Noir turned to Ladybug, seeing how much of a front she was putting on for others. She let herself cry in front of them, but she was still putting up a front that she was so confident. She was scared. She was worried. She was unsure of the outcome ahead. She was human. He wondered how many walls she had kept up through the months and even years they had been working together, side by side as partners.
You don't have to do that with me, you know,
he said, placing his hand on her shoulder. How's your side doing? She asked, changing the topic.
Like I said earlier, I'm fine. Don't worry.
He again reassured her, hoping this time she would believe him, but that was also very unlikely. Ladybug sighed and she pointed her yo-yo down the hallway and started to walk in that direction. The more he said he was fine, the more worried she became. Cat Noir closely followed behind her, letting her lead the way. The hallway twisted, almost never ending. Their footsteps seemed to echo in the almost painfully quiet corridor. Each creak caused them to tense up. Cat Noir had to almost pinch his nose as the metallic smell of blood flooded his nostrils. He almost wanted to de-transform back so he wouldn't be able to smell it so strongly, but knew if he did so, his superhero strength and powers would strip him of what little pain resistance he had left. Though while walking, he would catch Ladybug turning to him with a concerned look. She would glance at his side and turn away, almost like she was feeling guilty for it happening. He had no idea what was going through her mind, but he didn't want her to worry.
It's not your fault, you know,
he said, cutting through the awkward silence. What are you talking about? She said, not looking back at him, but instead kept walking.
You weren't the cause of me getting hurt.
He insisted, but even with his words, it didn't seem to affect her. She frowned and glanced back one last time at his side, not bothering to look in his eyes. She knew she didn't have the senses Cat Noir had. He had night vision, better hearing, and even better smelling than she did. She couldn't tell if it was the blood from her friends that lay on the floors around her, or Cat Noir's side that she was smelling. Both seemed like terrible options. She wondered how he could bear it all. The smell of blood, hearing the sharp metal screech from the scissors, all while being hurt to the point of passing out. She would admit, he was better at hiding his pain than she was hiding her concern. Again, awkward silence filled the air like a ship being filled with water as it sank to the bottom of the oceans. Ladybug looked around different corridors, but was met with either blood-soaked walls or a corpse lying near or around the doorframe. It was almost like they tried running away but were too late, having their lives stolen in mere seconds. They both tried to keep their composure. It wasn't like they could explain to one another that they had personal connections with the people around them. They could only blame their reactions on the fact that people were dying. After a bit of walking, Cat Noir pushed forward, walking in front of Ladybug instead. She didn't object to him leading. He could see in the dark after all. She just knew he was already hurt and was a bit hesitant as he took the lead, knowing if anything were to happen, he would be the first one hit. She didn't want that. She would rather be stabbed and hurt than him. A few hallways down, she felt him stop and accidentally bumped into him. She took back out her yo-yo to try and see what he was seeing, or even just his facial expression if nothing else. Even with her light, she couldn't see what he was seeing. Cat Noir's arm swung to his side and caught her wrist, causing her to grow tense. She put her yo-yo back up and clung tightly to him, patiently waiting in the dark. As she did, she could feel the light dampness soaking through his shirt. She could again smell the strong scent of blood that was seeping through. She looked down at his side, and sure enough, there was a large dark spot on his side that she knew was blood. He must have opened up his stitches without realizing it. She quickly snapped out of it when she felt Cat Noir's body shake. He was terrified. She held her breath, trying to be as silent as she could. She didn't dare move a muscle as Cat Noir was tense. She didn't know what he was looking at, but whatever it was, it couldn't have been good.